Hi, thank you for being here. Today I am doing the New Year book tag for 2026. I believe this tag was originally created by Heather at Bookables. As always, whenever I do a tag, the questions will be in the description. I put the questions with this year in them. I think in the original description they were like for 2018. Of course, in this video I will be saying 2026. Last year at the beginning of the year I also did the beginning of the year book tag, which is a different tag. I'll be doing that this year as well, just a little later in the month. Welcome to my channel in 2026. I think this will be my second video on the channel this year. I think the first is my review of The Catcher in the Rye, which I guess is my first book review of the year. It wasn't the first book I read this year. I read it at the end of 2025, but that's still exciting. So let's get started with the tag. The first question is, how many books are you planning to read in 2026? I set my Goodreads goal this year at 70, but I'm not super strict about it. It's just an idea just because it's a fun little thing that they encourage, and I'm like, sure, why not? And I do like to keep track. But I'm not necessarily trying to read more than last year. It's a little tough for me because I do read a lot of smaller books. I read plenty of like adult books and novels as well, but I do read like a lot of children's books, and so that counts toward the goal. And I thought about not counting them, and I was like, no, they're a book I read. I'll count them and put the date on them. So if I read over 100 books in the year, it's most likely not exactly the same as if someone else reads 100 books, because they most likely read more adult books, or maybe all of those are in that category. Still counts. It's still that many books. But yeah, so including all the small books, which is why I made it kind of a big goal, maybe it'll be more or less than 70. I will just have to see. I do want to try to read decently and read a good amount. I don't really have a goal for like how many books I want to read each month or each week, partially because, again, I don't want to put pressure on myself for that, but also I don't know how things will go. There will be times in the year, I'm sure, where I'm more focused on other things or something else is going on, and so I may be reading more or less at certain times. Like my Goodreads goal for last year I put as 40, because at the time that I set it I was not reading very much, and so I thought I wasn't going to read much throughout the year. But now I know how that goes. I probably last year should have realized I would read more later in the year, but at the time I wasn't reading a whole lot at the end of 2024 and beginning of 2025. So that's why I had only set it at 40, which is still a good goal. And I far exceeded that. So yeah, the Goodreads goal is 70. You can change your goal at any time. I did not do that last year or the year before. I probably won't do it this year. Again, it's not a big deal, but I do want to read enough just in general because I want to, and to be able to consistently make videos. So I guess just enough. So for me, enough is, like I said, to be able to make videos. Question 2 is, name 5 books that you didn't get to this year that you want to make a priority in 2026. I think this is my favorite question from this tag. So I have a stack of books and then one I don't own, so I'll just put a photo of it on screen. So one of those books is Hideki Smith Demon Queller by A.J. Hartley. I wanted to read this last year, didn't quite get to it. At one point it was at the very top of my TBR, but as often happens, it moved down. Other books got in the way. At the time of recording this, I still have over 300 books on my TBR. I don't know. I mean, I don't have like a limit where I'm like, I want to keep it under a certain amount. I might have tried to do that before, but if there are more books I want to read, then that's a good thing. I don't think there's a limit. I know one person who's got, I think, maybe like 30,000 books on their TBR. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Goodreads doesn't have a limit. I mean, maybe like 100,000, but it would take a lot to get there. So anyway, I've been wanting to read this book as I really like this author. I want to read a lot of his books, so there are some more of his that I want to read and will hopefully read this year. This book is young adult and involves some Japanese stuff. It's like Japanese fantasy, and I think I'll probably enjoy that, especially because I've enjoyed every book I've read by this author so far. And the main character is also half Japanese and then half American, I think. So, I mean, I know they live in North Carolina, and so that'll be some interesting representation. I have read very little, if anything, like that before. And also the sequel to this came out last year. I think there is going to be another book. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or if there's going to be more than that. But yeah, the sequel coming out just gives me even more incentive to read this. I know that this book has been, like, this series has been one of the projects the author has been working on, and it's quite important to him. So I do hope to get to this year. I'm going to try. I can't guarantee it for any of these books, but some of them I feel more sure about than others. Another book I really hope to get to this year is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. Last year I read her novel, This Song Is Not For You, and absolutely loved it, and I want to read more of her books, so I know that this book is much more popular than that one, and I know that this is like a duology with the other book, If Only I Had Told Her. So I got both those books in a box set recently, and I was hoping to read these by the end of 2025, or at least the first book. Didn't quite get to it, but based on my experience with This Song Is Not For You, I hope I will enjoy this one. So I think this is one of the books out of these 5 that I'm feeling most confident I will get to this year. It may take longer than I'm expecting, but hopefully I'll get to it in maybe February or March. I am also curious about this book because I've heard that it's sad. This book is far more popular, and so that makes me think also maybe I'll like it more. I don't know. I'm expecting it'll probably be a bit different, but I am really looking forward to reading more from this author. Another book that I got last year that I hope to read this year is A Perfect Mistake by Melanie Conklin. Now, this author I've never read anything by before, but this is a middle grade mystery novel. It has ADHD representation, which I think is important, and I'm looking forward to reading that because I've read very little, if any, of that in books before. And also, I think it'll just be interesting. I want to read more books that involve mysteries. I think that's usually pretty fun, especially I enjoy reading books where you try to figure things out and come up with theories. Or even if I don't do that, I'll just enjoy reading it, and I really enjoy middle grade, so I look forward to this. This year, I also hope to read A Fracture in the Quiz-Deep by Travis Emriddle. This is the 2nd book in the 6th book Progression Fantasy Jekua series. I read the 1st book last year. I really enjoyed it. I've been really looking forward to reading the rest, just haven't yet. I don't think I had this book when I finished the 1st. If I did, maybe I would have jumped right into the next one. I really like this author. He's one of my favorites. I'm sure I'll enjoy the rest of the series, so I really look forward to getting to it. I don't know if I will finish the whole series this year. It's certainly possible. I at least want to read the 2nd and 3rd book. I at least want to continue it this year. I'm sure that once I do finally get to this book, it will be a fun time, so I hope to get to it within the next few months. Lastly, a book I've been hearing about a lot and have seen at least 2 people put it on their top books of 2025 lists is My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I've heard a lot about this book. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and it sounds like it's about a lot of things that I will enjoy, about like friendship and art and things like that. I've never read anything by this author before, but I've been hearing about him a lot lately. This book sounds like something I'll probably like, so I'll probably borrow it from the library at some point. I keep hearing about it, which just makes me want to read it more, so I do hope to read that this year. Question 3 is, what genre do you want to read more of? I think I would like to read more romance, but I gotta find the kind that I'll like. And I'm sure it's out there. I'll just have to experiment, and I may have to get through some books that I may not end up liking. If so, if I really don't like them, I can DNF them. There's no reason to force myself through them, but I do think I would enjoy nice romantic stories. I just gotta find a certain kind, because I don't want to read like any spicy stuff. I know there's plenty of clean stuff out there, but I don't know. I know there are book recommendation videos for those specific kinds of romance books, and I really appreciate those. I gotta branch out with that. I gotta be a bit more adventurous. I do want to read more of that though. I think I would enjoy it, or at least some of them. I just gotta find the right ones for me. So if you know of any books that sound like they could fit that description, please let me know. Question 4 is name 3 non-book related goals for 2026. This one's a bit tough because most of my goals are reading and my booktube channel related, but I tried to think of some other things. Like last year, I know I wanted to go to more concerts, and I did a lot of that in 2025, but this year I'm going to be doing that less, if any at all. I don't know how exactly the year will go. Maybe if there's a not so expensive or really good opportunity, I may take it, but yeah, can't be doing a lot of that right now because we have other financial priorities. But well, I do want to see my friends more. I want to hang out a lot with my friends this year if possible. I don't have like any numbers for that, like seeing people a certain amount of times or anything, but I would like to see that. That is something I wrote down when I was writing down some ideas for goals in my notes app. I'm trying to think of some other things. I mean, I guess there are some that are more personal, so the ones I do feel comfortable talking about here, I guess I do want to learn more about cooking and get better at that, because I still have a lot to learn with that, and that's important, so I'll say that here. Maybe more goals will come later and I'll add them to the list. At the moment, I guess I don't have a whole lot. Not that I don't have any, but yeah, a lot of them are just book related and just kind of general, like get through the year and have a good time kind of things, you know? Question 5 is, what's a book you've had forever that you still need to read? So for this one, I wanted to think of a book I've had since 2024 because there are many books I got in 2025 that I haven't read yet, but there are also a few from 2024. So the one I picked for this novel, Gold Medal Winter by Donna Freitas. I've never read anything by this author before, but I got it from Ollie's Bargain Outlet because it sounded interesting. The sticker is still on there. I assume this is young adult, that's what it looks like. And I'll probably take the sticker off when I read this and do a review of it. I've read a book from there before, and that's how that ended up going. They're not the easiest or most pleasant to take off. I know there are like devices specifically for getting stickers off books. I should get one of those. Maybe that should be a goal for 2026. Like, I don't know if any of you have any experience with these specific stickers. Some stickers are easy to peel off without getting much on the book if you know what you're doing, but these, I don't know if there is a way to ever make the book the same. Like, I'll show you the book that I did read that had a sticker on it. So here you can see, if you look closely, kind of see the residue from the sticker. It definitely feels different. It's not a huge deal for me, but I went on a rant about this last year. I think it was in my January book haul. I do prefer places like Books A Million that have the stickers on the back. And even then, those stickers aren't as bad. So it's not a huge deal for me. But yeah, just felt like commenting on the stickers again, apparently. I know they may not be the most attractive to viewers, but whenever I do a review, it will be off. And when I'm holding a book at this distance, I don't think you can even see the residue. This is about a girl who is going into Olympic figure skating. It sounds fun. I guess it takes place in winter, or like the Winter Olympics, so maybe winter will be a good time to read this. I was looking through my TBR and looking at like the seasonal holiday books that I could try to read around winter time this year, but there weren't a lot of them, so maybe I'll throw this one in there as well. I do think this sounds interesting, it's just not the top priority, so who knows how long I'll have this before I'll read it. Question 6 is one word that you're hoping 2026 will be. For this, I think I'm going to say peaceful. I mean, not everything will be peaceful, but I just mean, you know, I hope it doesn't have too much chaos, too much anxiety. Just want it to be nice, or at least make my own space peaceful and do what I can to be that way towards others. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'll do my part. And the 7th prompt is tag a friend. Whoever wants to do this can. I don't know if I've seen anybody do this specific tag this year. Maybe. I don't know if it's been going around much. It was created quite a few years ago. But anyway, that was the New Year book tag for 2026. This and the beginning of the year book tag I may do every year. We'll see. Thank you for watching.